The forum in Milan continues as Ivan Lendl, the number 3 player in the world now, the number 2 seed in this tournament because Boris Becker skipped it, he is injured, will take on Jonas Svensson. Stefan Edberg losing in the first round to Svensson in a match that Edberg will regret because he had 4 match points in that tie-break match. John McEnroe losing to Yannick Noah, then Svensson over Yannick Noah to get to the final. Andre Agassi, the number 3 seed here, losing to Paolo Cane of Italy. Cane in turn losing to Ivan Lendl after Lendl had beaten Pat Cash of Australia in the first round. Interesting to look at this, isn't it, Arthur? 66%. Lendl is supposed to win this according to these percentages, and Svensson's not far behind.
You're right. We looked at this at the top of the show today, and Pam dutifully picked Lendl. I picked Edberg and Noah, and you picked Agassi. And
thanks for bringing that up.
Pam's looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, but the trouble is, I'm not sure my prediction actually went over the air until you guys brought it up, so I'm not sure if it really counts.
Well, I'm giving you credit anyway.
There is Ivan Lendl, his best result this year with the Australian Open when Stefan Edberg had to withdraw in set number 3 against him with an injury, a match in which Stefan Edberg was playing particularly well. Then, of course, he took off the entire clay court season in an effort to prepare for and to win for the first time the one that he wants more than anything, Wimbledon. He did win a grass court tournament. That was, of course, the Queen's Club the week before Wimbledon, but couldn't win the big one. Stefan Edberg beat him in the semi-finals. Jonas Svensson, 24 years old, from Sweden, beat his countryman Edberg in the first round here. He won in Toulouse this year in France. And he also got to the semi-finals of the Paris Open. As a matter of fact, he's been very consistent. Hasn't been a big winner, but the guy is, I guess, 11th now in the world, so he's been very consistent. This is one good player. Break head-to-head. It is Svensson who leads this 1-0. And by the way, these two have got an interesting history because Svensson beat Ivan Lendl at the French Open Championships. That was in 1988. And he also beat Lendl in Bercy. That's the Paris Open. And that was just concluded last Sunday. So, I mean, the rankings say one thing, but the record says another. Lendl to serve 1 point.
And the players should be much more relaxed because they have a lot more room to play here. It's best 2 out of 3 tiebreakers. There's nothing like just coming out here and playing 1 tiebreak, first to 7.
Psychologically, Svensson is going to be a bit more relaxed because now the pressure's off. He's got 100 grand, even if he loses. He's not used to winning those kind of numbers.
But you can double it up, though. Sorry, Pam.
I was going to say, but when you live in Sweden, it's really not 100 grand, is it?
No. Rather high taxes. Those taxes are coming down, though.
Most of the Swedes in the last 10, 15 years have chosen to move away from their home country and settle in Monte Carlo, but Jonas Svensson still lives in Sweden.
The winner, by the way, will take home $200,000. It's about 20 million lira.
2-1.
So Svensson gets on the board. Lendl having a little bit of a tete-a-tete with the umpire, asking for a quiet, no flash bulbs. Oh, that was on the line.
Balled wide, though. And Lendl doesn't like it.
It looked good from here. Let's take another peek at that. It's going to be
2-all.
Well,
Yeah, I'm going to pull that one wide.
well, we're not calling the lines.
2-2. 3-2 Lendl.
That's the way to come back from a tough line call. Hit an ace.
Lendl wide to Svensson's right. Not too many right-handers have that serve, but that's one of the shots that Lendl has improved, enabled him to move from just the top 5 to the #1 spot.
You know, I think if something hurts him, it's that he's slicing their backhand too much now. This one. You know, that backhand there that you see, Arthur, he did that in an effort to try to
Keep
win
the ball
Wimbledon.
low.
Yeah, and
Yes.
keep the ball low. And
On grass, it does.
try to add something to his game, but the problem is that he's hitting it, in my opinion, too much now. I mean, he lost sight of the fact that his real bread and butter was a big, booming topspin backhand. 3 points all, tiebreaker. Best of 3 tiebreakers for the title here.
Oh, someone just threw an old tennis ball or something out on the court.
Not surprising at all here in Italy. For Italico, they throw coins and cushions. They let you know if they're not pleased over here.
4-3, Svensson.
Jonas Svensson ahead 4-3.
And now, Lendl reflects that forehand return out. Now things get interesting, I think. Right here. Lendl up 2 points to love now. Down 3-4. 4-all. Points so far in this match have been very staccato. Not an exciting point yet.
So interesting to see how these players play differently against the different styles of their opponents. You'd expect it, of course, but as you watch this replay, Ivan Lendl a lot more aggressive than he in the past than he has been here. In this point, we just stayed back.
Svensson in his first 2 matches played Edberg and Noah. Would have served and volleyed just about on all first and second serves. Now he's facing someone who likes to stay at the back of the court.
Play an aggressive player, you're kind of forced to come in, aren't you? 5 points all.
Set point.
Lendl.
And Lendl will serve it.
Just trading medium-paced shots. This one, that last shot from Svensson, is a little bit long. Wide, rather.
First tiebreaker, and as a result, the first set to Ivan Lendl. They're playing for $200,000, and Ivan Lendl is playing Jonas Svensson of Sweden. We'll be back with more from Milan after this. Tiebreak, best of 3 in the final of the tennis shootout from Milan. This is Svensson to serve first point, second tiebreak. And he decided to come in, apparently.
He did. He rifled a forehand to Lendl's forehand, and then he moved to his right, leaving that open. Watch this. This is a rifle to Lendl's forehand. He left the left side of the court open, and he paid the price.
Now, that was a hard forehand, wasn't it?
No, boy.
The other thing was they brought out new balls at the start of this tiebreak. So every tiebreak, they start with new ones. So if it goes into the third, another set of new ones.
But you can figure that Svensson thought that having lost that first set tiebreaker staying back, that he might become more aggressive. Didn't work. 2 points to nothing for Lendl.
We saw the off forehand from Carnet. That was an off backhand from Lendl. Svensson thought that backhand from Lendl was going to go cross court. But a little side spin down the line. Lendl 5 points away from $200,000 or 20 million lira. Either way. Points away.
Well, you're down to a situation now where Svensson has got to win these next 2 points, because if he loses one of the next 2 on his own serve, he'll be down too many break points.
Lendl has been very successful with that serve, that wide serve to his opponent's forehand. Shootout event. And it makes us think, Cliff, as we watch a replay, how do you think a shootout would do on a clay court?
I think it'd be great. Truthfully, I think it'd be great on any surface. I'm loving every minute of this. 3-1, Lendl.
It is much more fun, though, when you have players who are more animated and are just loving to be out there and want to excite the crowd. I mean, these two are taking it, of course, they're taking it very seriously, but they're not really jumping around and expressing themselves the way the Italian crowd would like.
There is an ace. That's ace number 3 for the tournament so far for Svensson. Of course, the tournament only started, let's see, just on about 2 hours ago, and Ivan Lendl has 6.
Well, I don't know about you all, but this is the first time I've seen every shot in a tournament.
You and me both. Good point. That is the point of the shootout. You see all of these great players in such a short space of time. 3-2 Lendl in serving. Number 3 player in the world now, but he took so much time off in an effort to prepare for Wimbledon. I think that 1991 you will see a different Lendl, a better one. Down the line for a complete winner. And Svensson in all kinds of trouble at 3 points to zip in this second set tiebreaker. Has come back. Broken one serve of Lendl's. We're even at 3 points all.
You would have thought that Lendl may have hit this approach shot cross court. He didn't. Svensson went right behind him. That was anticipation on the part of Svensson.
And if Svensson ends up winning this tiebreak and then the third, of course, that will be the turning point.
You're right. The point at which things turned around. Well, Pam, was that a sneaky way of saying you were changing your favorite for the event?
Well, he played that point so beautifully because he hit, I think, 6 or 7 different shots, all different pace, different spins, a high one, a low one, a hard one, and it really confused Lendl.
There it is.
The #2 player in the world, confused.
Well, #3 now.
#3 now, yeah. Was #1 for a long time.
Indeed. Points all. This is a continuation of the indoor season. This tournament, of course, is not part of the ATP Tour. That goes without saying. But on the ATP Tour, Lendl did win in Tokyo, beating both Edberg and Becker. He lost to Svensson, as we've already told you, to Paris indoor.
Mishit.
In this past summer in New Haven, Connecticut, Lendl had his first-round loss since 1984, and that was to Malaveo, Washington.
There's some question about just how interested he was in that event.
It was a strange score. Not taking anything away from Malaveo, Washington, but I think the score was 2-3 or something like that.
It was the Volvo from New Haven, a great championship. 5-4 now. First tiebreak in this best-of-3 tiebreak match to Lendl. That's called long, and Lendl evens things in the second tiebreaker, 5 points all.
5 all.
Well, you can't read Svensson's lips because we don't know what he's saying. That was why.
See what Svensson does on this second serve.
Lendl's got to get it in.
Comes in. And an excellent play from Jonas Svensson. I had a feeling that he might attack the second serve off, and he did, and this gives him second set point in the tiebreaker.
And I don't know what Lendl was thinking, because to play a lob off an approach shot when the net person isn't even really up to net yet, it's very low percentage, and you could see after that point he really chastised himself, and he knew he should have driven the backhand.
Cross court.
Set point.
That was out.
And it is called out, and it is Jonas Svensson who comes back in the second set after being down by 3 points to nothing in the tiebreaker and wins it 7 points to 5. So this match is dead even, and we'll be back with the final set tiebreaker after this. Set tiebreaker, as you can see, Lendl won the first set. He lost the second set. We are in the third and final set tiebreaker. 1 point to nothing.
It was almost as if, Pam, from here, Lendl was just inviting Svensson to hit that backhand down the line because he left the forehand side of the court open.
Well, and now Svensson's got himself in another hole down love, too, but he loves to come back in tie breaks. He fought off match points against Edberg in the opening round and was down love 3 in the last tie break.
Lendl 2 points to 1, and he will serve. Return just long.
what the boys in the locker room are thinking now.
I bet they'd like to do this whole thing over again.
Especially Cash, remembering what happened to him in a stakes match 3 years ago.
Against Ivan Lendl when he started out the day up over $300,000. Lost it all. That was one of our ABC telecasts, and it was one of the most interesting days.
Oh, I've never seen that much of a swing. In 24 hours, he went from being up on paper, $386,000 if you watch a replay, to losing all of it.
And Arthur and Cliff, coming up is really one of the worst backhands I've ever seen.
Yes, that really was a no-brainer.
3-1 Lendl. He'll serve one more point. Lendl representing one mini break point here in this final tiebreaker of the tournament.
Well, can Svensson get himself out of another tiebreak hole? I don't know. Down 1-4 to Ivan Lendl. It's going to be tough.
That's the second time I've seen him hop on his, as he gets ready to return serve, and the hop caused him to be a little late.
So Lendl gets back. Well, I should say Svensson gets one back anyway, but he is still trailing one mini break point in this tiebreaker, down 4-2. To answer your question, Pam, no, I don't think he can do it again. He did it in the second set on 3 zip down. But to do it twice, I think, is more than one can expect from him. 2-4.
Well,
all he's got to do is win one of the next 2 points, and he's back on serve. 4-3, Lendl.
Well, there's been some shots in this tiebreak like that last one. I can't figure out whether they're nervous or whether they're not concentrating that well. Be interesting to ask afterwards.
Well, I know who's going to ask the questions.
Three Lendl.
5-3 Lendl.
Very solid forehand. His bread and butter shot for all these years. That in the serve. Puts him in the driver's seat or keeps him there in this third set tiebreak. A smart play from Svensson, but Lendl comes up with the answer to it.
I don't blame Svensson for doing that.
Neither do I.
He had nothing to lose. Watch this again, and he hits it rather well. It's just that he was leaning the other way.
And he comes in down the middle of the court, takes the angle away from Lendl. Lendl just had to hit a great shot, and he did. Gives him match point.
Match and championship point.
Right.
Snuck in again. Well, you can see that Svensson's world ranking is certainly no fluke. He's not one of the best known players, but he can play.
Match point. Down the line, Svensson isn't there, and the championship is over in favor of Ivan Lendl. The first tiebreaker, 7-5, then lost the second after a 3-0 lead, 7-5, and then Ivan Lendl rolling out the third set tiebreaker in the championship, 7 points to 4.
He deserved it.
And we'll be back with more from the tennis shootout in Milan in just a moment. Stay with us. Lendl over Jonas Svensson of Sweden in the final, 7-5. He won the first tiebreaker. He lost the second, 7-5. And yes, that's correct. It is a tiebreak tournament, 7-4 to Lendl in the final. For a purist like Arthur Ashe, I wonder what is going through your mind. You saw all of these great players in a 2-hour time frame. How different things would have been if this was the final of one of those major championships, best of 5 sets, just 2 players. What do you think?
I liked it. I genuinely, honestly liked it. And I'll tell you 3 reasons. One is you could see a lot of players in a short period of time, and I think everybody would want to do that. Secondly, it had the natural tension that most tiebreakers bring to the sport. But thirdly, and I think most important, the underdog had a very honest chance to win because he could play very well in about 5 or 6, 7 minutes and pull off an upset. And that's exactly what happened here.
Is it pretty much what you expected, Arthur?
Yes, I'd like to see it on a different surface, but just for the curiosity of it, but I liked it.
Something like a clay court, which is a question you asked me as we were watching that together. Pam Shriver, of course, has had a lot of experience with the great sport of tennis and with tie breaks, and you were a lot closer to the action. So what is your reaction after this whole thing is over?
Well, I thought the men really handled the situation well. They've never played in anything like this before, and all of them came out there with their adrenaline really flowing, and they were ready to go, and particularly the 3 upsets early on was very surprising, and maybe the fans felt a little cheated that they didn't get to see more of McEnroe, Agassi, and Edberg. But you had the excitement of Kane winning his opening match, and I thought really one of the neat things also was it was very easy to understand. Lots of times these special formats, special events, they get a little confusing with the scoring, but this was easy. All you needed to know how to do was keep score of a tiebreak.
Pam, the crowd kind of got into it for one thing, and secondly, the players looked to me to be a little more nervous than you would expect.
That's right, and I asked Lendl at the end if he was nervous, and he said he was, but someone like Lendl is such a good percentage player, maybe it makes sense that he would come through in the end.
Next weekend, the ATP Tour Finals. The players on the men's tour have been battling their hearts out all year to try to make it. They are there now. The top 8 are there. Ivan Lendl, of course, will be there. Stefan Edberg, Boris Becker, Andre Agassi. It's very open, probably, like this whole year in tennis has been. But would you be good enough to try to pick a winner?
Well, it's tough to do right now, but I would say that I would want to go maybe with Lendl because I think he's in very good physical shape. But next week is an exciting week in tennis. Both the men and the women are deciding their year-end championships and 8 different winners of Grand Slam events.
That is, hasn't happened in a long time, has it? Of course, Arthur Ashe has seen a lot of men's tennis played this year. How about the finals next week in Frankfurt, Arthur? How do you see it all?
Well, everybody's got these little niggling injuries that may keep them from playing their best, but I've still got to go with the top 2 players, Ivan Lendl and Stefan Edberg. I think either one of those players is going to win. You're
referencing, of course, the fact that Pete Sampras, and boy, wouldn't it have been nice to see him playing well and in shape, but he has an injury as well as Becker.
That's right. Well, Sampras hasn't played that well since he won the U.S. Open. Becker has been doubtful the last month or so. So I've got to go with Lendl or Edberg.
That's the ATP Tour Finals from Frankfurt next weekend here on ABC Sports. For Arthur Ashe and Pam Shriver, I'm Cliff Drysdale. Thanks a lot for joining us, everybody. Once again, from Milan, Ivan Lendl, the tennis shootout champion.